Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframing Mindset podcast. And it's Constant Brooks. And in this episode, I talk about some bloopers. Since I reached this far into the work, I guess when this is released, I will be around about my 7th month at this company. If I'm not um fired as yet, as such like that. But about passing so many stages, you know, you realize that it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as a smooth road. And what happened was that you'd see some, and there was a lot of rocky because rocky road, because what happened is that I'm adjusting to the 9 to 5 lifestyle, and it was a different lifestyle. And to as the 9 to 5 lifestyle is an unhealthy lifestyle, so you have to actively adjust to the lifestyle while actively putting the effort so that you maintain a healthy way. Because if you just succumb to the full 9 to 5 lifestyle, you'll be very unhealthy. So what happened was that, so when I just started working, you know that I I was I never had. So what happened was that I usually start working. So what happened is that I usually just take a taxi to the city, take a taxi to the city and then just walk. The taxi would go straight to the company. So I had to just stop at a certain place and then walk to the rest of the company. And that's the method that I was using. And then after that, I realized that you could, with the place that I stopped, there were actually taxis that could actually take you directly to the company. But that was extra money, and bro, I went to the company to make money, not spend money. So I had to I had to back to buy it. And what happened was that walking was kind of a way to actually burn some calories while, because if you remember when I started the year, I wasn't as fit as I want to. I was still in the losing weight process. So I was just walking and stuff like that. And then and that was the method I used to go to the work. But what happened was that I started to get this urge as I reached progress further into the work. What happened was I usually have this urge now to start using the bathroom, and it's like, so what will happen is that I'll reach it. So I'll reach in town, and then as soon as I start walking, I have this urge that I have to use the bathroom. So I have to start walk quickly, and it's like I have to plan it and be like, just master my mind, be like, okay, yes, I have to reach there, and then when I reach there, I can use it, and bro, it worked for a few days. But there was just one day now where it's like, bro, it didn't go as planned. Like legit, I was like wondering why in the world this keeps happening to me every day. And it's like, oh my god! And then it got to me, bro. It got to me, and it's like I was walking until I reached a part, but like, oh my god, I was so close to the bathroom, but as I reached inside, I failed. I'd be like, oh my god, my whole pants was wet. I'd be like, damn, bro, it's a mess. It's a mess, bro. And it's like it's one of those things where, bro, I you know what I realized that there's a lot of force working against your progress. Like life could be so smooth, but as soon as things start going your way, there's a lot of things that just comes in randomly that just halts your progress. And bro, and that was wild. I was like, so I realized that okay, I could not go to the work today. So I actually just went out and then I left the work immediately. as I never went to the room as yet. I was trying to use the bathroom before actually going to the training because this was a training phase. I think no, it's not the training phase. It was we're also at the training phase. We're in the on the job training part of it. We were doing the work on the job. So I was leaving and then I saw someone now that was came in the training with me that was coming into work and I saw them and I was like, yo, bro, that's still a person who won't be there today. And I was like, why? And I just gave him a reason. And then I said, okay. And I just walked the rest of the week. I just walked back into the city, took a taxi, I went home, and then boom, I just chilled. Or no, I think what happened was either I told them I was not coming today or I said I was coming late and then I actually went home and then actually changed and came back. I think that's what I did. And then, but, bro, that was a day. And it's like, it's one of those stuff and be like, oh my God, bro. Embarrassing stuff just still, what happened is what I realized that as I get older, embarrassing stuff doesn't stop happening to you. You just become, as with experience, you become better at how to actually deal with them. And it's like, oh my God, bro. It's a mess. That was a day. The next blooper was when we were doing the training now. So when we were doing the training, so we're talking to these people. And one of the things is that so we're doing the training, on the job training, and I'm just learning. You realize that when I started the work, this was my first time doing this type of job where I'm talking to people 8 hours a day. And we're talking to the real people. And what happened was that I was talking to this person, and this person could not hear me, and I could not. And it's like, bro, they asked me, it's like a simple issue, and I'm telling them what to do, but they're not hearing me. And what happened was that one of the thing is with this job is that you have to actually be able to solve the work fast, solve the work fast and stuff like that. Like doing it under 10 minutes, solve the problem within 10 minutes so that you can get to the next person or less, 10 minutes or less. That's good. But I'm on this call with this person for over an hour, and then what happened was that all of the and this was not the first time, but what happened is that every time I get these type of call, it's not usually my fault. It's just the person or the tool at the time will just giving me this big issue. It's not, sometimes it's my fault, but it's not always my fault. And what happened is that the leads and the supervisor at the time always come and pressure me at a time when it's not really my fault. And this was one of those times. I was there talking to the person, and the supervisor came and be like, Colin, why the hell? Why you on this call for so long and stuff like that? And it's like, yeah, I mute the call and be like, yo, bro, the person not hear me and stuff like that. I'm trying to explain to them and be like, and the person be like, no, no, and cursing me and stuff like that. And it's like it was really frustrating to the because the thing about it, the job is that you can't argue with them. You can't really get angry or anything like that. You have to just stay calm and compose and try to explain it. But at the same time, you're angry and frustrated and you want to tell these people the real feeling, but they just can't. You have to re-explain to them as calmly as possible. And it really built up into me like to the point where, bro, I wanted to cry on the car, bro, because I'd be like, yo, why in the world this person won't listen to me? These are simple instructions, bro. Simple instructions. Why in the world this person won't listen to me? And it reached a point where eventually the call ended. The call ended, and I was still I wasn't feeling sad. I was feeling very frustrated. I wanted to cry, bro. And it's like, yo, and I just suck it up and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where I listen again, where you realize that things are very temporary. Because I said that was basically in the training, on the job training phase. That was like way in January. I know we're in April or May, depending on when this episode is released. And I would look at that moment and be like, oh my god, bro. If I was very younger, I would look at that point and be like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. But looking back in hindsight, bro, that was just one call out of the many calls that I've taken since then. That's the thing, that was just one call. But what happened is that you had to go through that. You have to go through that feeling process to the point it breaks you, to actually reach to this point where you're at now, where you're better. You had to go through this. You have to go through this always of failure to reach that point. And it's like it doesn't feel like it then. It it feels like the end of the world or the worst day ever. And that's the reason why many people quit before, because as I said, these things that I'm telling you now, these bloopers and stuff, they're not foreign to many the people that I keep. Well, the first one, really, but the second one, where like a bad call and then the old supervisor get on them, that was the reason why many of the people that I started with actually end up leaving before they reached this far. Because what happened was that they took it as an attack, and instead of really taking the time to be like, okay, I remember why you're here, and just take it as a criticism and stuff like that, they took it to heart, because they were younger than me. They just came out of high school, and if I was a high school person, I would take it more personal. When you're younger, you take it more personally than when you're older, you're more mature, and I can understand. Take critique from other stuff, and they took it as an attack, and they eventually leave. And then because they left, they didn't get to reach this far to actually receive the benefits that they could be receiving if they actually just commit, and then they have to start over again. So I said these bloopers, I just wait to just basically just laugh to myself, be like, bro, that those stuff actually happen. Those stuff actually happen, and be like, I could be, and if you look at these episodes, and be like, oh my god, that was the end of the world. But that day felt like the end of the world, or that moment it felt like the end of the world. But that day eventually passed. And now I'm looking at those situation months later, being unemployed at all and all, getting all these benefits, and be like, oh my god. I can look back at those moments and laugh and be like, bro, I had to go through those phases, and be like, what happened is that a new person that's coming into the company. I can actually just look back at those times and be like, tell those people like, bro, this training phase is gonna really test you, but you just have to just push through. Just like how another person did that was working before me. One of the phases after training was that we actually did so. We shadowed someone who actually was doing the work like a year or so longer than us. We shadowed them, and they told us basically, and the person that I shadowed basically gave me the tips and made me understand what it takes to reach that far. And I learned from that, and I reached that far. And now I see that person. Basically, sometime when I basically go for lunch or stuff like that, I see that person be like, oh my god, you actually made it through. And be like, yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing. Those trials for you is basically a lesson for you to realize that, okay, that this too will pass. And then when this passes, it becomes a lesson that you can teach someone else, so that they could get better and not have it as hard as you did and stuff like that. So yo, that's basically it. Thanks for listening. I look forward for our next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
20 week and 5 experience. Mhm. Yeah. I know what's special about this week is that I got to use a sick day. Well, I don't even know if it actually counts because but I think I requested it. I told you. So it's up to so in my book I actually use it. So who would have known? Hey, sick days become relevant, and yeah, you have to use it. Like you know, when they appreciate, it's funny they have to appreciate things when they get them. Like you never know the use of something until you actually need it. And when I actually unlock the sick days, I'll be like, oh yeah, when would I actually use that? Not long after